Here's a PC I got to show you guys. This one should be really interesting. There was an ad on Facebook Marketplace for a free PC. It was set by the side of the road by the mailbox, and it listed the address. So my wife was out and about, and I said, "Hey, go swing by this address here and pick up that PC." And they had said it was an old Dell, so I had no idea what to expect. But what we ended up getting was an Inspiron 530, and as you can see, it's quite grungy. Really filthy down there. It looks like bugs and shit. Right there, looks like somebody had tried prying either a front off or a side panel open. You see it's pretty scuffed and scratched and dirty on the top. Power supply is pretty dirty. And it's got a Wi-Fi card in there. So let's go ahead and open this up. And you see I've already plugged it in and seen that the BIOS splash screen comes up. That was as far as I went, because once I opened this up, I decided not to go any further until I clean it out. Alright, there's our Core 2 Duo CPU. You can see it's got a hard drive in it. Looks like 2 sticks of RAM. I'm not sure how much RAM is in here. And unfortunately, this is the G33M02 motherboard. The M03 variant it came with a Core 2 Quad, and you could upgrade the Core 2 Quad. And this one, unfortunately, will not take a Quad, but you could upgrade it, to like a E8500 and E8600. Now, you see, it looks, kind of dirty in here. But look at that. Looks like a bunch of dead bees. And there's one back there. He's stuck in a spider web. I don't know if you can see him back there. Yeah, he's stuck in a spider web. So this thing has got critters in it, and I looked to see, if there was a bee's nest in here, because if there was, I probably would have just tossed the whole thing out, even if it was dead, because bees just terrify the shit out of me. There's something right here. I'm not sure what the heck that is on that fan. But anyways, we're going to take it out. We're going to get all these dead bees and shit blown out, and we're going to take this whole thing apart and clean it really well, and then we'll decide what we'll do with it from there. Alright, so I'm going to say the first thing I want to do before we go any further is probably just make sure everything works good with this motherboard. Like I said, I know it came with the BIOS screen before, but that was as far as I went. So I'm just going to clean this old crappy thermal paste off the CPU here. And if you wonder what it is I'm spraying on the rag here, it's denatured alcohol. I use that all the time just because I usually have at least a gallon of it around. I use it a lot for powder coating, so it works good at cleaning these up, even when it's like hard and crusty like this. Alright, can't hardly read this shit, but it looks like this. There we go. Okay, let's see. we got our splash screen, so let's go to setup. There we go. Alright, so now we're in setup. Let's see, system info. BIOS is from 07. Core 2 Duo, E4500, 2.2, 2 gigs of RAM. Alright, seems like everything works. I say we'll grab a hard drive and try throwing Windows 7 on this sucker. On the sticker on there says, this came with Windows Vista. So instead of trying to install Vista, I think we're going to install 7. Alright, good news is we got Windows 7 up and running, which means everything's okay on the motherboard. I did have an issue. It didn't want to, it would install Windows, but then every time it went to load Windows, it would just restart. Turns out it was a BIOS setting. It was set to IDE, and there was no AHCI setting, so it was just called RAID, so I switched it to RAID, and then I was able to install it, no problem. And another thing I noticed too is that fan, something looked a little off with that fan to you guys. Yeah, that's what I thought. Alright, well now I want to take a look at the case and figure out what I want to do with the case, and we'll probably just clean it up good, maybe touch up some of the finish on there. So as soon as I figure it out, we'll come back. So as you can tell, we've got this Dell Inspiron 530 all wrapped up. On the inside, I added a NVIDIA, it's an MSI card, an NVIDIA GT 730, which is just a 2 gigabyte graphics card. And I believe the model that's in this one is DDR3. I figured that would go good with the Core 2 Duo. I put an E6600 at 2.4 gigahertz in there, and believe it or not, then in most cases, from trying it out, the CPU bottlenecks that GPU, even though that's it's a pretty weak GPU. So I've got an E8500 or maybe an E8600, I can't remember which one, ordered. It's a 3.3 gigahertz dual core, and we're gonna put that in there, and then we're gonna do some benchmarks. And as you can see, we've got Windows 7 installed. We've got all kinds of games, benchmarks, and everything on here, all ready to go. So what we're going to do is wait for this E80, 85, I don't know, whatever, the 3.3 gigahertz dual core to come in. Another thing is, when I painted this, when I picked out the paint, I thought it would be a good match to the powder coat, and it does as far as the flake in it, but as far as the color, you can tell there's definitely a difference in color there. So that's kind of a bummer. But if you look at like the factory, this is a factory panel. I didn't do anything with these panels because these panels are in really good shape. I just cleaned them, and this is a factory plastic, and this is not faded at all because on the inside it's the exact same color. That's almost like a cream color. So it's like everything on the front panel now is darker than what's on the body, which is fine, I guess. It looks way better than it did. It's got, the whole inside, the whole structure has been powder coated, as you saw. So yeah, I mean, this thing looks pretty good now. Everything works on it, and we're just waiting for that new CPU, and then we'll get a video up doing some benchmarks and testing on it with some Windows 7 stuff. So for a free one on the side of the road that was full of bees, I love the way this thing turned out. So hopefully one day this will make somebody a decent little computer. So we'll catch you on the next one.